Defining three-dimensional figures. So a three-dimensional figure is a connected three-dimensional figure, and polyhedra. Most solids that we're going to talk about are polyhedra. The singular is polyhedron. It's a 3D figure where each face is a polygon. So you see a bunch of polyhedra below. Each of the faces is a polygon. So face is a two-dimensional surface, a side of a polyhedron. An edge is a segment connecting two vertices, and a vertex is a point where multiple faces meet. So if we wanted to count faces, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the bottom 6. There are 6 faces on this polyhedron. It'll be different for different ones. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 connecting the top to the bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the bottom, so a total of 12 edges. And vertices, there's 4 vertices on the top, and there are 4 vertices on the bottom, for a total of 8 vertices. A sphere is a solid where all points are the same distance from the center. So this is the same definition as a circle, except now we have a solid instead of a two-dimensional figure. So not only is this going to the left and to the right, but also forward and backward, in and out of the screen. A prism is a solid formed by connecting two congruent parallel polygonal bases. So here, there's a triangle there, and there's a congruent triangle at the bottom, and they're connected directly. They're parallel, and they're both polygons. There are 2 polygons that are congruent, parallel, and polygonal, and that makes this a prism. Now, a triangular prism has, we name prisms based off of their bases. So a triangular prism, a rectangular prism. You can name other things as prisms if you have a different base. So this we could call a pentagonal prism because it has a pentagon as each base. And depending on which way you define prism, you might argue that a cylinder is a prism. The definition I used did not include it because it's not a polygonal base, but other than not being a polygon, it's pretty much the same because we have 2 congruent parallel circular bases. So a pyramid is a solid formed by connecting a polygonal base. So here we have a polygon that is the base, and it's connected up to an apex, the vertex. Apex means the top. Here is our polygonal base, and it connects up to an apex. You'll notice that in a prism, each of the sides, the lateral faces, are the side faces, are rectangles. This is not someone choosing it, it's just what happens when you connect things that are parallel to each other. Here, if you connect a triangle or a rectangle to a point, each of the faces, the lateral faces, are triangles. In this case, so is the base, but here the base is a rectangle, but all 4 of the lateral faces are triangles. So we have triangular pyramids, square pyramids. You could have other types of pyramids. So what is this base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This would be a hexagonal pyramid. And this would be a cone because it connects a circle up to a point. And again, if you include polygonal in your definition, then you wouldn't count a cone as a pyramid, but in most respects it functions the same as all the other pyramids do. You should know the difference between a right solid and an oblique solid. A right solid is what your normal. This is a right solid. It has its base or apex centered compared to its base. So typically when people draw pyramids, the the top is directly above the center of the base. But this one is oblique because it is slanted. The point is not directly above the center of the base. Here we have a right cylinder, and this is an oblique cylinder. There are some other solids that you might see named. A tetrahedron. Tetra means four. It's a four-sided polyhedron where all of the sides are regular triangles. A hexahedron is usually called a cube, where all the sides are regular quadrilaterals, also known as squares. An octahedron is, octa means 8, so it's 8-sided, and it has triangles for each side, equilateral triangles. A dodecahedron has 12 faces, all of which are regular pentagons. And an icosahedron has 20 sides. They're all regular triangles. So just as some practice, let's name these shapes. This should be a sphere. If we say that the base is a square, then we would call this a square pyramid. Here, this connects two hexagons, so it's a hexagonal prism. Here we have a cylinder. This is a tetrahedron or a triangular pyramid. Depending on whether you think all the sides are the same, you might call it a cube or a rectangular prism. This is a cone. There are two triangles connected, so it's a triangular prism. And then this would be an icosahedron. All right, those are how we name three-dimensional solids.